Yeah, for me, it's about relationships. It's about two people from completely different backgrounds coming together and dealing with situations that were completely unplanned, and they've kind of been thrown in this basket with all of their baggage, and now they have to talk it through or deal with that in the moment, with a lot going on in a very short span of time. So it's a juicy play with a lot of banter, a lot of back and forth, and a lot of stuff being revealed over time in the play. So that's something that's what the play is about.
Yeah, I think it's about all of that, and I think it's about what it means to choose your partner, right, over and over and over again in a relationship. And I think it's about trauma and how trauma impacts us as humans, as couples, and what it's like to have to start over again. And I think so many of us have had that experience, but maybe not from a place of fear. And so I think it's also about that. Like, what does it look like to start over again when you have fled somewhere as opposed to chosen to move somewhere?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some choices you make, some get made for you,
right.
And then why you let some choices happen, and then how your dynamic with your partner affects a lot of those things. So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of like whys of being together.
And I think too, at least for me, it's very much about motherhood. And I think the play does a really nice job of shedding some light on the darker sides of that, and what that's like to have a brand new baby, and what it's like to have a partner who's not necessarily as involved as maybe you hoped or expected them to be, the burden of that on women and on moms. And so yeah, I think there's that too. Yeah, oh my gosh. My favorite part has actually also been the hardest part, because I think this show is very much, for me, about motherhood and having a difficult transition into motherhood. And I think that the play does a beautiful job of exploring that. And so I guess my favorite part has been the opportunity to kind of talk about that as we tell the story. But it has also been the hardest part because I myself had a rough transition into motherhood. So it's been kind of cathartic as well as triggering to have to go to some of those places again and experience some of those emotions again. But I really love that the show tackles that. I think it's great.
Yeah, for me, the new thing and the thing I've been enjoying a lot, as well as sometimes not so much, is the two casts, right? We have two separate casts playing the same characters. I love the fact that I can perform the first half of the night, and the second half I get to watch other people do the same thing, and watching for, hey, what's different, maybe something I can pick up from there, some things that don't necessarily talk to me in the same way as the other cast. So both casts are bringing a little bit of themselves to even though most of it's the same, there are a lot of small things, and within the moments how the character or the people are bringing their own backgrounds to the character. It's very fun. It's been a lot of fun to do that, because usually, like, even when I'm in the play, like, okay, this is the line where I say it, and I have this one perspective of how that gets said. But I'm also like an hour later sitting and watching two other people go through that same moment, and how they think about it maybe a little differently, how they handle it, how they approach it a little differently. That's been a lot of fun for me to watch as well.
Well, I would like to say why people should come see this play twice. Because I don't think you should just come see this play. I actually think you should come see it twice. And the reason for that is the double casting. Because yes, it is the same script. Yes, it is the same director. But I kind of feel like it's two different shows. And I think a lot of people, if you're not in theater, even if you are in theater, and you've heard this concept of like actors making choices or bringing choices to their performance, and you don't really know what that means, you will see it if you come see the show. Because you're watching two completely separate casts make different choices about their characters, about their circumstances, about their interactions with each other. And I just think, I kind of wish I got to see both casts. Like, it's really neat to see it unfold and to know, oh, I'm doing something totally different and watch the other cast do it the way they're doing it. And I think from an audience perspective, it would be super cool to get to see both of those casts and just the differences.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's something I would definitely encourage everyone to do, watch both shows. And something else is also, I mean, and this might be true about many shows, but it's like there's so much of the, I guess, raw emotions that have been presented on the script and in the play about what couples go through at different points in their lives. And here it's like literally they've probably had to speed up a lot of those things in this small time and space. And I feel like people will probably relate to a few of those things. Everyone will probably relate to a different part of it. A lot of people have gone through a lot of these discussions, and it's just been put out there on the script, and hopefully we will be able to show it to you on stage. So.
Yeah, it's a very human story, and I think anybody who has been in a relationship, had a child, moved somewhere new, like I think it would be really hard to see the show and not see yourself in it somewhere. So it's a beautiful, beautiful human